When Chris and Emily moved into their new apartment a month after their wedding, Chris quickly realized that Emily had a serious obsession with cleanliness. The hardwood floors gleamed so brightly he could practically use them as a mirror to shave, and the kitchen was as sterile as a hospital operating room. Chris wasn't thrilled. He had grown up loving animals and had always dreamed of creating a mini-zoo in their new place. But it became clear that Emily wouldn't exactly welcome this idea. Still, Chris couldn't let go of his dream. So, as Christmas approached, he came up with a clever plan. He brought home a tiny 2-month-old puppy, a Labrador mix, as a Christmas gift for Emily. Chris figured she wouldn't want to hurt his feelings by rejecting a holiday gift, especially one with such cute puppy eyes. The puppy's name was Buddy. Emily jokingly started calling him Trouble, but for the first few days, she tolerated the mess he caused. When Buddy had an accident on the hardwood floors, she sighed and cleaned up after him with her usual obsessive attention to detail. When he knocked over her favorite flower vase, she clenched her teeth and quietly swept up the pieces. But when he chewed up her new leather boots, Emily couldn't take it anymore. She locked herself in the bathroom and sobbed. Chris, filled with guilt, promised through the bathroom door that he'd sell Buddy to the first person willing to buy him. He tucked Buddy under his jacket and headed back to the animal shelter, where he had adopted him just a week before. Standing near a vendor selling goldfish, Chris kept a low profile, hoping that no one would take an interest in Buddy. He desperately wanted to keep his puppy but had to stay true to his word. Maybe, he thought, if no one showed any interest, Emily's anger would fade by tomorrow, and they could keep him after all. But Chris's hopes were dashed when a red-faced man in a heavy coat suddenly appeared. "How much for the dog?" the man slurred, already halfway into his Christmas celebration. "My daughter's been begging for a puppy, but we live in a small apartment. I've been offering her a hamster, a mouse, anything smaller than a dog, but she's relentless, so I told her, 'You get straight A's by Christmas, and I'll get you a dog.' And wouldn't you know it, she did it. So here I am, keeping my promise. He doesn't grow too big, does he?" Chris quickly seized the opportunity. "Nah, he won't get much bigger than a calf." "A calf?" The man was taken aback. "This little guy?" "Yup," Chris nodded. "This breed is called the mini giant. Grows fast. Hope you have a bed big enough for him." The man hesitated. "Well, I do have a queen-size bed." "Perfect," Chris reassured him. "Buddy loves sleeping in bed. And don't worry, all his shedding stays in the sheets." The man blinked, fully sobering up. "Maybe I'll try talking her into getting a turtle instead." He backed away quickly, leaving Chris with Buddy still tucked under his arm. Feeling more relieved, Chris managed to dodge a few more potential buyers with similar lines. When an older couple asked if Buddy would be gentle with their cat, Chris replied, "Oh, he loves cats. He might just nibble off her tail. No big deal." After scaring off the elderly couple, Chris was ready to call it a day, feeling proud of himself for managing to keep Buddy while fulfilling his promise to try to sell him. But just as he was about to leave, a determined young woman appeared. She beamed at Buddy and declared that she had been looking for a dog exactly like him her entire life. No matter how much Chris warned her about Buddy's behavior, how he loved destroying furniture, chewed on everything, and was practically a tiny menace, she wasn't deterred. "How much?" she asked with determination. Chris closed his eyes, threw out a random number, and said, 500. The woman hesitated for a split second, then pulled out her wallet and handed him the cash. Chris kissed Buddy on the forehead, feeling the weight of his decision hit him, and walked away, not daring to look back. He wandered the streets for hours, trying to shake the heavy feeling in his chest. Eventually, Chris returned home, quietly handed Emily the money, and began to take off his coat without saying a word. Emily, surprised, looked at the cash in her hands. "Wow, I didn't know you had a knack for business," she teased. Chris remained silent, too heartbroken to respond. Emily smiled softly. I have a surprise for you too, she said, disappearing into the kitchen. She came back with a large cardboard box. Open it! Chris lifted the lid reluctantly, not expecting much, and froze when he saw what was inside. Buddy jumped out of the box, wagging his tail and licking Chris's face. How did he get here? Chris asked in disbelief. Emily grinned. You sounded so sad when you promised to sell him. The apartment just didn't feel right without him, so I called my friend who lives near the shelter and asked her to buy him back for any price. So now Buddy is officially yours again. Merry Christmas. Chris knelt down, scooping Buddy up into his arms. He was speechless. After a moment, he looked at Emily with a smile. I think I owe you one. How about I get us a hedgehog next?